Hold on. What did I just see? Honestly, I can forgive all the previous inaccuracies, but this one is a major one. I can't. Don't tell me that this is a British tank. Is it rockets coming from a Zeppelin? Oh my god. Germany produced 20 tanks in all of World War I. 20. So no, it's not they were mostly on our side. They were all on our side. Hi and welcome to History Legends. In this video we'll do a step-by-step historical breakdown of the Harlem Hellfighters mission from Battlefield 1 called Storm of Steel. A lot of you have been asking specifically for this reaction. Are you ready? Let's go. Battlefield 1 is based upon events that unfolded over 100 years ago. More than 60 million soldiers fought. It ended nothing. What? It ended nothing except the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Russian Empire, the German colonial empire. But that's nothing, right? Anyway, this is about the story of the Harlem Hellfighters, an all-black American unit that fought on the front line. As you know, most African Americans were not allowed to fight. Okay, let's see. Pretty excited. Okay, right away what I see is that there's a problem with the landscape. The reason is that this terrain looks wet, it looks like fall, winter, and there's no leaves on the trees. Thing is, this mission is set during the Second Battle of the Marne, which took place in early summer 1918. Here's a picture that was taken during the Second Battle of the Marne, and as you can see, it's hot, it's very green, and it's sunny. Now what I believe is that they actually took their inspiration from the Battle of Meuse-Argonne that took place in fall 1918, and that actually looked like that. And as you can see in this picture, it's literally the same landscape as in the game. Alright, let's move on. So they have to defend this village from a German attack. This village that used to be completely destroyed, and that's pretty accurate. A lot of French villages during World War I were so destroyed that they were never rebuilt. So that's well done. So hold on. What did I just see? I need an instant replay.
Oh, he loves to fire then.
A German with a spiked helmet. Honestly, it is completely absurd that the Germans still wear this helmet in 1918. As you know, the Pickelhaube was completely replaced by the Stahlhelm in early 1916. Okay, so let's move on. They fight. In this village, they have to hold the line. So it's normal we don't see trenches necessarily, since they're fighting for a village. So this is actually a Hotchkiss Model 1909, known in the US as the Benét-Mercié machine rifle. It was an obsolete French LMG still used by the American military in 1917, but not for long because that weapon was really bad. Now, in reality, the Harlem Hellfighters were equipped with the same weapons the French soldiers used in 1918, namely the Chauchat LMG and the Berthier Model 1916 rifle. So all these weapons did exist in World War I. They were used by American troops, but like we know, the Harlem Hellfighters fought with the French. Oh my god, what did I just see? Oh my god, was that a rocket? If this was a COD game, someone would have yelled, RPG! It's funny how the Germans don't have machine guns. In World War I, they were notorious for placing machine guns. Right? Another RPG! Oh, okay guys, we have something good. Like we can see, the Harlem Hellfighters kept their US uniform. But since the US military rejected them from combat action, they were transferred under French control. The French trained them and completed their gear with the famous French blue Adrian helmet, French belts, and French pouches. Basically, it was the same uniform that the French provided all colonial troops. More pike helmet. Okay, you have a random barbed wire in the middle. More rockets. Okay, it's starting to be a lot. Where are the rockets coming from? And like we said before, the Germans would have positioned machine guns in their face and just supported their assault. Okay, this is a nice uniform. Pretty well done. Okay, did you notice? As you can see, he picked up a new weapon in the game. It's called the M1907 SL Factory, but its real name is the Winchester Model 97. So like we said before, these weapons actually existed. They were used by the American military during World War I, but it is highly unlikely that the Harlem Hellfighters actually had access to them. Again, I like to criticize tactics here and there, but we know how the Germans would have attacked. They would have pinned down the main group here in the village. They would have outflanked them. They would have used a lot of grenades, flamethrowers like we saw. Oh, it's good that they're retreating one step back because the Germans are pushing forward. We see grenades. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay, where's this flamethrower coming from? Oh, okay. You know, one thing that's funny is that in games, often the flamethrowers have the shittiest range, but in reality, they had a range of 40 meters, but also only 10 seconds of continuous firing. So he's trying to fire at the guy. I don't know where the rockets come from. Oh shit. Now, one thing, contrary to popular belief, German flamethrowers did not walk on the battlefield on their own. In reality, you would have squads of 2-3 men per flamethrower. One would hold the hose, the other would carry the reservoir, and the third one would be in command. I mean, the chances of you surviving that is... Oh no! Oh, did you see? This German flamethrower is easy to recognize because of its circular shape. It was introduced in 1916 and the Germans called it the Vex, short for Wechselapparat, aka replacement gear. Okay, he's dead. Oh, it's rare that we have a mission where he's dead. Okay, it's only 19 years old. Oh, our great adventure. Yeah. A lot of guys, especially during an era where you couldn't be traced as easily, would dream of going to fight all over the world and for adventure and everything. But most regret it. Because many got fooled. They read war stories of heroism, courage, and they thought that this would be the same thing as what they imagined. But reality was very different. Alright, let's continue. Okay, immediately, what? I don't understand. Why is the German... Okay, this is a German Maxim machine gun. I don't understand. Why is it aiming at the German side? Anyway. Okay, let's take a look at the trenches. Okay, look at that. Again, a quick pause, but the trenches are too wide. Like, look at all this space here. What is it used for? It's empty. There's not even cannons or ammo boxes, nothing. It's so wide. And as you know, we often cover it in my videos, but the wider the trench, the more chances something can fall in it like a shell. So you're not protected at all. But overall, the gameplay, the mission is interesting. I have to admit, it's an interesting mission and everything. And they make World War I attractive for a modern audience. So I have to give them credit for that. They're the only game that managed to do this. Holy shit! Is it rockets coming from a Zeppelin? Oh my god! This is a Zeppelin L-30. Now, it's totally ridiculous for it to be portrayed as firing rockets. That's completely sci-fi. Because in reality, this was a long-range bomber. Its purpose was to fly thousands of feet up in the air, not a few hundreds like here, and bomb targets hundreds of kilometers away. This was not meant to be for ground support. Now, the craziest thing is that it could carry up to 23 tons of bombs. Can you imagine? The same amount as 5 B-17 from World War II. Now, the other problem is that this Zeppelin was a single unit that was decommissioned in 1917, November 1917. But this clearly takes place in summer 1918. But again, on a positive note, this Zeppelin existed, but it's just the use of it is really off. This was like a spaceship. Oh, the shotgun! Okay, you see the problem here is that none of the American troops have the French uniform. They have literally an American uniform. Oh, you know, fun fact about this shotgun. The Germans hated it. Look at that. They hated shotguns. We saw it earlier, the Winchester Model 97, a pump-action shotgun. With a 5-shot capacity, you can imagine the damage it could do at close range in tight environments, like trenches. And for this reason, it was nicknamed the Trench Sweeper. Now, this weapon was so effective, so deadly because it could injure many men with one shot, that the Germans attempted to have it outlawed in combat. Now, of course, their request was rejected because They also used gas weapons and flamethrowers and all this. But I thought it was an interesting story. Especially since the Germans had no way to counter this weapon, and they had nothing similar. You see, what I don't like in games like that is that they often dehumanize the Germans, the enemies, by them having masks or face cover. Okay, 33 years old. 33, pretty old for the time. When you see the age of soldiers fighting during the Great War, there's something you have to remember is that you can't compare your age with the age of people back in the days. So for example, an 18-year-old today is not the same physically, is not the same mentally as an 18-year-old during World War I. I'm not going to go too much in detail about it, but most kids stopped school at 12, 13 years old, if they were lucky. And then they went to work. That means that an 18-year-old was a grown-up man, compared to 18-year-olds today that play video games in their mom's basement and refuel with Mountain Dew. Okay, let's go back a bit because I completely skipped what he said. Changed. What do you mean? What do you mean mostly on our side? Oh my god, what is this? Germany produced 20 tanks in all of World War I. 20! And they were bad, like horrendous machines. In comparison, the British built 2,500 and the French over 4,000. That's literally 325 Franco-British tanks for every one the Germans had built. So no, it's not they were mostly on our side. They were all on our side. Hold on, what is going on? Oh no, you're not gonna tell me. Oh, honestly, I can forgive all the previous inaccuracies, but this one is a major one. I can't. We see the Harlem Hellfighters fighting side by side with white American soldiers. No, just no. The US president at the time, Southerner Woodrow Wilson, refused to allow African Americans to serve in combat with white American soldiers. Actually, it's even worse. They were just not allowed to fight. Not even in segregated units. All they could do was labor duties, cooking, cleaning, unloading trucks and ships, digging trenches. They were not worthy enough to be on the front line. However, some units were determined to fight, and the Americans were a little bit embarrassed, so they simply transferred them under French control. Overall, French generals were happy to get extra manpower, and French soldiers were used to colonial troops. They didn't mind to fight and stand in the same trenches as black soldiers. My point is, in this mission, either all the soldiers have to be African Americans, or if there are other troops involved, they should be French. At least respect the story. I understand that the gameplay might be a bit different than actual World War I fighting, but at least respect the story. Alright, breathing in, let's go. Bro, don't tell me that this is a British tank. Oh my god, it's a British tank. I'm gonna get mad. We just talked about it. Why not a French tank? It could have been awesome to drive the Renault FT, the first modern tank. Oh no, let's just use the British because it's better. And anyway, the French barely fought during World War I. I'm shocked to what extent Battlefield 1 goes to erase the main belligerents of World War I. And the French are not the only ones. The Russians are also completely absent from the campaign. Two of the biggest armies of the entire war, forgotten. So you see how they twist the storyline. It's not very pleasant. Oh, you see? Okay, at least this is good. You see this guy pulling a wounded comrade back to the rear. What we often forget during World War I is that not everyone was so enthusiastic to charge an open field. Many would jump out of the trenches and patiently wait in craters. And picking up a wounded comrade was the best excuse to leave the battlefield. Alright, let's go. Okay, what I don't understand is that why are they driving on a pre-made path? Like, we clearly see a road with logs on it. The entire, a full-on road. Like, the purpose of a tank is to literally drive outside of roads on muddy, difficult terrain. For king and country, great. Let's just make stories and everything. Beautiful. Yeah, just destroy the entire house. A bulldozer. Oh, that was the rocket. Oh my god. Are you insane? An anti-tank gun during World War I. Wow, excellent. Beautiful. First of all, you need 5 guys to operate it. So this one crewman alone can't turn the entire cannon by himself. And in reality, this is the most basic German field gun, the 77mm Feldkanone. It was first built in 1905, years before tanks even existed. You can imagine it could do very little damage to these tanks. And you might ask, how did tanks get destroyed? Well, they simply would, more often than not, break on their own. Now you might say, maybe it wasn't an anti-tank gun. Okay, very well. German artillery positions did not look like that at all, simply because the cannon here is all alone. Germans had batteries of several cannons, and there's no telephone line to order the commander of this battery on where to shoot. Here it's totally ridiculous because this field cannon only shoots straight, visual targets. That's not its purpose. Okay, let's open a path. That's actually what tanks were used for. Oh, you see, breaking through barbed wire line, and this is a beautiful one. Well done, beautiful. And then you have the infantry running behind. Well done. Oh, what a horrible effect. Like, okay, the effect is horrible. But at least they run through barbed wire. A bunker? Oh my god. Let's check again. Oh, no way. This is real. Come on, bunkers during World War I. Okay, hold on. I take back what I said. It's actually 100% legit. Germans did in fact build state-of-the-art defenses during World War I, including concrete bunkers, and you can have an example like this one in Ypres, positioned on Hill 60. The only difference here with reality is that the openings are way too big. Like the purpose of this bunker would be for a machine gun, so you want the openings to be super tiny. But alright, this the tank could actually destroy a bunker. That would have been a useful weapon against a bunker, so that's well done. No way, bro, come on. Okay, no way that an artillery shell that lands in front of it blows up a tank like that. Like, come on. At least make it believable by destroying part of the tank, damaging its tracks, but not have it entirely blown up. Honestly, I kind of like the fact that your character dies in the mission. It gives us a different perspective. Alright, you see the gas warfare is good, but you see now it's a mess. You have white American troops fighting side by side with the Harlem Hellfighters again. It's complete chaos. Like, they've lost control of the scenario. Okay, the Germans did have bunkers, but now you see it's all bunkers here. And now there's not trench at all. I understand that there wouldn't be trenches necessarily everywhere, not in all villages, but we should see at least a couple trenches. Now let me know what weapon he's using, because I'm not too familiar with it. Seems like a prototype to me, like not like an actual weapon. It was used, of course. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna stop here because there's not much more to say about this mission. Let me know what you think about my analysis in the comment section below. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, if you want to support my work, don't forget to join my Patreon, link is in the description.